Hello everyone. This video presents a notable event that happened on each day from the past week in history. On January 5th, 1943, African-American agricultural scientist George Washington Carver died at the age of 79 after a fall. Although Carver, who developed methods of increased crop production through soil management and crop choices, was a keen advocate of such foods as sweet potatoes and the peanut, he did not invent peanut butter as is often believed. Some other people who have also been given credit for inventions they did not really invent are Thomas Edison, who did not invent the light bulb, although he did make it practical; Henry Ford, who did not invent the automobile, as the true inventor is disputed; Al Gore, who did not invent the internet and never claimed to have done so, although he did take credit for helping pass the legislation that made it possible; and North Korea's former dictator Kim Jong-il, who is falsely claimed to have invented the burrito and the hamburger, waterproof liquid, a cure for AIDS, and hangover-free alcohol. The incidents that occurred at the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021 have sparked ongoing discussion and debate about what exactly happened and why, to the point that legal actions concerning these events are still ongoing and may have consequences for the 2024 U.S. presidential election. I expect that many of my channel's viewers have already been deluged by opinions from the media and politicians regarding what happened on that day, and surely you have seen various polarizing opinions expressed on social media. For my part, I primarily just want to tell you about fascinating, long-past historic events on my channel without trying to persuade you of my personal opinions about current events. So, as a question for my students and subscribers, based on what you have learned in your high school and college-level U.S. history courses, what do you think is the most polarizing day in U.S. history? Please let me know in the comments section for this video. On January 7, 1894, Ohio-born Uber inventor Thomas Edison made and demonstrated a kinetoscope, a sort of device using multiple photos or drawings to show the illusion of movement, in this case of a man sneezing. Although Edison is often given credit for inventing the motion picture, his own employee, William Kennedy Dixon, actually received the patent for motion picture film on that same day. Edison is often cited as the most prolific inventor in history, and it is his name on 1,093 patents, although more modern inventors have dramatically eclipsed this number. Edison's real genius lay in his ability to coordinate a team of inventors and engineers working on a variety of projects to come up with novel or more workable solutions. Many of his inventions were team efforts for which he got primary credit. Who is your favorite inventor? On January 8, 2023, supporters of former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro stormed the Brazilian capital of Brasilia in protest of the 2022 presidential election that Bolsonaro lost to Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Apparently, dissatisfaction with the results of a presidential election is not a uniquely American phenomenon. The pro-Bolsonaro mob heavily damaged several government buildings, including the Presidential Palace and the National Supreme Federal Court, as well as the Congress building. The stated goal of the mob was to force the Brazilian military to take action and hopefully reinstate Bolsonaro. Hundreds of rioters were arrested and jailed as they had set fires and destroyed fire hydrants in an effort to effect maximum damage. Bolsonaro was in Orlando, Florida during the insurrection. Several Brazilian government officials were arrested, and plans authorizing Bolsonaro to implement emergency measures were found. On January 9, 2015, a funeral in Mozambique was the eerily appropriate venue for a disaster involving the favorite bubbly beverage of millions or even billions of people. The funeral goers were supplied with the local brew they call Pamba, and sadly the beer was contaminated with a deadly germ called Burkholderia gladioli. Beer has been a staple beverage and even food for many centuries, and generally speaking, if consumed in moderation, it can have beneficial effects on health. Like many other foods and drinks, when consumed to excess, bad things can happen. Or in the case of Our Deadly Funeral, if production allows for contamination, your health and even your life may be in danger. Investigators first thought ingredients such as crocodile bile or the foxglove flower may have caused the problem, but they later found the bacteria to be the culprit, killing 75 and making another 230 ill. On January 10, 2015, Karachi, Pakistan was the scene of a horrific motor vehicle crash when a tanker truck and passenger bus collided, resulting in 62 deaths, of which 6 were children. Anytime you have a close one while driving, you may think of the dire consequences of a car wreck, and today we list a few of the worst, including the Le Mans disaster of 1955, when car racing proved to be deadly, as a track wreck spilled into the stands, killing 1 driver and 83 spectators, the Togo Truck vs. Dancers wreck of 1965, when either 1 or 2 trucks ran into a large group of dancers in the road, killing at least 125, and a tunnel wreck and fire in 1982, in which a Soviet Army truck and a tanker truck collided in a tunnel filled with a Soviet Army convoy, killing about 3,000 people in perhaps the worst wreck involving land vehicles ever. On January 11, 1935, American aviatrix Amelia Earhart became the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to California, one of her many aviation firsts. She was also the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic and was a proponent of women in aviation, of which there have been many great ones, including Jackie Cochran, 1906 to 1980, an aviation pioneer that held more aviation records during her life than any other pilot of either sex. The first woman to fly supersonic, she also helped organize female pilots for Britain and the U.S. during World War II. Lydia Litviak, 1921 to 1943, flew fighter planes for the USSR during World War II, becoming the top female ace with 12 kills and 4 joint kills. Finally, Jeannie Leavitt, born circa 1967, was the first U.S. female fighter pilot, reaching the rank of Major General and the first female to command a combat fighter wing. As a question for my students and subscribers, which event from this past week in history would you most like to learn more about? Please let me know in the comment section below this video. If you liked this video and would like to receive notification of new videos, please feel welcome to subscribe to History and Headlines and become one of our patrons. Your viewership is much appreciated. For image, audio, and other credits and attributions for components of the individual videos in this compilation, please see the descriptions of their respective videos, which are linked to in this video's description.